Morning Kal Kadosh, Masechet Yoma Daf Amud Aleph 16a1. So here we were talking about where exactly were the different places, the different chambers. So we spoke about that the lishka that they used to do, the lechem apanim, was mizrachit sefonit, right? Sorry, that was going to be dromi mizrachit, which is southeast. Then we said the northeast was where the Chashmonaim put in Gniza, the stones of the mizbeach that were cut by the goyim. And Sefonim Aravit was where they used to go down to the Tevilah, to do Tevilah, to go to the mikveh. So there's a stira, a contradiction. So we answered yesterday by saying, Amaravuna Mantana Midot, who's the one that taught Masechet Midot, the Mishnayot Midot, of Eliezer ben Yaakov. So two different authors, so therefore you can't really ask a contradiction. Tetram, as we learned in a Mishnah Midot, Ezrat Nashim, this is Ezrat Nashim, Aita Orech 135, Arocha 135. It was 135 amot squared. So 135 by 135. Now you had four different rooms, chambers in the corners. So you had a big room, corner. There were different chambers. Okay? Mayu mishamshot. What would they use it? Dromim mizrachit, which is going to be the southeast. Lishkat Nizirim, for the Nazirs. Shisham Nizirim Vashlim, they used to cook their shlamim. Megalchin Se'aran, they used to cut their hairs. Mushalchin Tachadadon, then they used to throw their hairs underneath the fire. Right, which that's where they used to cook their shlamim. Mizrachit Sefonit, northeast. Hiyaita Lishkat Ha'etzim, that was with the wood. Shisham Kohanim Ba'alei Mumim, was there the Kohanim that they were Ba'alei Mumim, they had blemishes. Omdim Matzim Ba'etzim, they used to come and check the wood for Tolaim. So they used to have them, even a Kohen that cannot work in the service of the Bet HaMikdash because he had a certain defect, he was still doing something. So what was he doing? He was making sure there was no tolaim in the wood. Shekolet sheyesh bo tolaat, any etz that had a tolaat, asul legamiz mizbeach, cannot go on the mizbeach. Tzefonim Maravit, yeah, northwest. Lishkat HaMetzorim, for the Metzorah, leprosies. Maravit Dromit, the southwest. Amar Eliezer ben Yaakov, says Eliezer ben Yaakov, Shachachti ma'itamish. I forgot what it was used for. Abba Shaul says, Bayu notrin yain v'shemen. They used to put wine and oil for the nesachim and the menachot, for the wine libations and meal offerings, and that was called lishkat bet shemanaya. It's called the lishka, the chamber of, right, different types of, whether it's shmanim, of oils and things like that. So therefore, we want to bring a proof that author of is Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, right? The authors of Midot. Says the Gemara, it's also logical. The Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, that it's Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. The time as we learned in the Mishnah, all the walls were very tall except for the Kota Mizrachi, the eastern wall of Harabait, which was lower. Because the Kohen that's burning the Praduma, Umebar Mishcha, is going to be on Har HaZitim. Umechaven v'roeh, and he's looking, Kenega Pitcho Shel Echal. He's looking at the Echal b'shat Hazat Adam, which means all the walls of the Bet HaMikdash were tall. The east one was lower. So that way, when he was in Har HaZitim, he would be able to look, and when he was looking west, since the eastern wall was lower, so therefore he was able to see straight into the Bet HaMikdash by the Echal. Because he was also tall up. He was on Har HaZitim, on Mount Olives. Yeah? So therefore, since he was up there, he was looking. Now, if you're going to tell me that the eastern wall was also tall, just like the other walls, so he couldn't see in. But because it was lower down, you were able to see in. Remember that the Kodesh Kodashim and the Echal and everything, the Ulam, was always on the west side. We think everything's always east. But there was towards the west. So therefore, when you were looking in, if you were on the east, the eastern wall had to be lower, in order that when he's looking towards the west, he could see straight into the Echal. Okay, straight into the big building, right, in the Bet HaMikdash. Remember, in the Bet HaMikdash, it was the walls, right, and then there was a big building in the middle, right, not the middle, towards the end of the Bet HaMikdash. Okay? Utrana, we learned in the Mishnah, Kol HaPtachim Shayu Sham, all the entrances that were there, Kovan Asrim Ama, all of them were 20 amot. V'rochban 10 amot, so 20 amot tall, and 10 amot width. Utrana, we learned in the Mishnah, Lifnim Mimenu, right, because of the inside of the walls of the Harbait, soreg was like a type of a mechitza. But a soreg was like, like the mechitzot or the type of fences that they have, like it's a little bit clear, meaning that you could see through it. It's not like a full brick wall. It's the ones that that you have, whether it's pieces of wood and you could see in between the woods and things like that. That's called a soreg. Utzrana, we learned in the Mishnah, lifnim mimenu was a chayin, achel, right, which was 10 amot, 10 amot, ushtemesre, ma'alot hayusham. There were 12 steps. Rum ma'ala chetzi ama, so you used to go up half an ama, v'shilcha, and then you used to go half an ama. So it was basically half an ama, step, half an ama, step, half an ama, and each thing was half an ama of going up and the depth. So if somebody could put their foot in it. Yeah? Literally putting their foot in it. Yeah? Fine. So here, if you look in the next page in the art scroll, you have the picture. You see it on the bottom? The bottom left. Actually, for me, it's left. I don't know about for you. Right. Yeah, right? Okay, so right. So here it starts and it keeps on going. You understand? And it keeps on going, but the ulam and the echal is over here. So therefore, that's why all this space, you understand? And this is how the steps work. And it's explaining to you how the steps were going. So you see, that's a kotel arabait is all the way in the bottom. Then you have the soreg, you have the different steps, the chel, the different steps, right? The zarat nashim, the different steps, and then you have the ulam and the echal. Okay, so it says ve'ol 15 ma'alot. So there were 15 steps going mitocha from the zarat nashim. Hardom Azrat Yisrael to Azarat Nashim, from Azarat Nashim to Azarat Yisrael. Remember that Azarat Nashim was for the women, and then you had another area which was only for men, which is called Azarat Yisrael, and then you had the Kohanim. Okay? So it says, Ru Ma'ala. So there were 15 Ma'alot. By the way, those are the Shira Ma'alot. So 15 Shira Ma'alot. Ru Ma'ala Chatiyama, Ve'shilcha Chatiyama. So it was 15, it was basically going to be all these different things about half an amot. Utznan, and we learned in the Mishnah, Ben ha'olam lamizbeach, right? Between the ulam and the mizbeach was 22 amot. Ushtemesre ma'alot yisham. There were 12 ma'alot, 12 steps going to the ulam, right? Rumala chatziyama. Again, the same thing. Chatziyama, chatziyama. Okay. Utzrana, we learned in the Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov omer, ma'ala ita sham. There was also one step, gavoa ama, which was 1 ama gavoa. The duchan natun alea, and the duchan was there. Do you know that we always call it aliyah duchan? Duchan is here, right by the echal. There's a duchan. That's where the kohanim they go to duchan. Aliyah duchan. It's like a bama, right? It's like a platform or a stage, if you want to call it, right? And that platform is called the duchan. So that's where the Leviim used to be, and they used to be singing. Uvo shalosh ma'alot shel chetz yaman. There you had 3 ma'alot of half an amah, 3 steps of half an amah. So says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that's why it was gavoa, which means that it was going to be covered. Because according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, since the karka ulam was 20 amot tall, and right, chetzi miraglei rabayit, so it comes out that a kohen, that he's on Har HaZitim and he's looking in towards the Bet HaMikdash, right? Since it didn't go until 20 amot, so therefore he had to make obviously the lower, meaning the kotel mizrachi, the eastern wall, lower, in order that he could see above it. But if you're going to tell me it's a rabbis, if you're going to tell me it's a rabbis, yeah, he says, Hayika palga damata the minchazele pitcha begave. He says, 1 second, you still have half an amah that you're able to see. Which means that you have half of an amah at the top of the petach of the entrance of Har HaBayit on the eastern side, which that's where you could see from Har HaZitim, right? You could see the top half of an amah going to the Echal. But obviously you have to say it's talking about Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Okay, fine. Next, Rav Bar says, no, I disagree with this. Why? Hamani, who do I say the Mishnah is going like? Rabbi Yehuda. It's like Rabbi Yehuda. The time was learned to write that Rabbi Yehuda Omer, HaMizbeach memutza ve'omed be'emtza Azara. The Mizbeach was exactly in the middle of the Azara. Right, by the way, you should know, the same halacha applies to the teva, the what Ashkenazim call the bima, or what we call the teva. Usually, it should be in the middle of the in the middle of the synagogue. It shouldn't be too far back. It shouldn't be too far. You understand? It should be in the middle. Yeah. He said that the mizbeach was exactly in the middle of the azara. And it was 32 amot. Okay? So therefore he says, right, Tetzayin Amud Eser Amot, there you have a beautiful picture. Yeah? Eser Amot keneged pitcho shel Echal, 10 Amot by the entrance of the Echal, 11 Amah letzafon, 11 to the north, 11 lederom, 11 to the south. So it's exactly. So there you have the picture. Right here. Okay? This is the Mizbeach, and it's exactly, 11 to the north, south, he had everything right there. Now, if you're going to tell me now, Midot is of Yehuda, Mizbeach, can it be in the middle? But now we learned in the Mishnah Midot. Kol Azara ita orech 187. The entire Azara was 187. Arocha 135 on 135. Mina Mizrach l'Ma'arav, from the east to the west, was 187, 187. Mekom Drisat Reglei Yisrael 11. You had 11 for Azarat Yisrael. Makom Drisat Raglei HaKohanim was another 11. Right? The Mizbeach was 32. Ben Ha'olam Mizbeach was 22. The Echal was 100. And then you had another 11 behind the Echal. So look, here you have the picture. Over here, behind, you had 11. Meaning behind the Ulam and the Echal. This is the Ulam. This is the Echal. Behind, you had 11 Amot. Here, you had 11 Amot, Azarat Yisrael. Another 11 Amot, the Azarat Kohanim. You had the Mizbeach. Between the Mizbeach and here, you had another 22 Amot. So therefore, this is just doing all the calculations. And by the way, before, this was the Azarat Yisrael and the 4 chambers. So if you remember, this is Lishkat Nazirim of the Nazirs, of the wood, where the Kohanim would come. Lishkat Shemanim of the oil and the wines. And Lishkat Mitzorim of the Mitzorah. So these are the 4 chambers in the sides. And here you have everything. Okay, so this is the picture. Okay?
Where do you get it from? Where is it?
So Mina Darom Latzafon, from the south to the north, was 135, was 135 Amot. HaKevesh HaMizbeach, the Kevesh of the Mizbeach was 62 Amot. Mina Mizbeach L'Tabaot, from the Mizbeach to the Tabaot was 8 Amot. Makom HaTabaot was 24. From the Tabaot to the Shulchanot was 4. From the Shulchanot to the Nanasin was 4. From the Nanasin to the wall was again 8. The Amutar and the extra was from the Kevesh to the Kotel Makom and Nanasin. Which means here we're going now this way. From here to here. So we mentioned from here till the Mizbeach. So he said there was 10.5, 62 Amot. This is 24. Then you had each one. 24, 4, 4, 4, 10 and a half, and then you had 8 until the wall. Everyone sees it? You have it there, no? Yeah. Okay. So that's what we just read now. Now, Visa, you're going to tell me daughters of Yehudahi, Mizbeach be'emtza azaram. Can you find it in the middle? Right? Why? Haruba de Mizbeach badromkai. The majority of the Mizbeach is in the south. If you look in this picture, yeah, remember, where is it? Where's the Mizbeach? The majority is where? To the north or the south? The south. This is the north. Right? This is the north. So the majority of the Mizbeach is in the south. This is the south. The majority is in the south, not in the north. It's not in the middle. So what's going on? Okay? So says the Gemara, yeah, the majority is in the south. Ella lav shema mina, but rather, what does it come to teach you? Okay? Yud Zayin Amud Aleph on the top. Ella lav shema mina, but what does it come to teach you? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov yi shema mina. So Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, that's what it's coming to teach us. Okay? Now says the Gemara on the top of Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, Rav Ada bered Rav Yitzchak Amar, Rav Ada, the son of Rav Yitzchak, said, Hai Lishka, this Lishka, which was Lishkat Tlaim, Aktsuye Maktzia, it looks like it's being pulled on the 2 different portions, right? That means it looks like it's going Tzad Tzafon and Tzad Darom, right? Which means here it has the picture. This is the 4 chambers. Okay, these are the 4 chambers in the Bet HaMoked. Now, the Lishkat Tlaim is over here, this one. So it says the way that the Lishkat Tlaim is, it's actually pulled, right, partly in the north and partly in the south. It's not like square. Yeah? Which means that the way you have it here, remember, this is the Bet HaMoked in the Bet HaMikdash. Right? The Bet HaMoked is over here. Remember the dome. Okay, this is the dome. This is called the Bet HaMoked. So in the Bet HaMoked, okay, so in the Bet HaMoked, you have the Mishkat HaTlaim, where you have the Tlaim. Now, the way that it is here, it's showing us that the Tlaim was also in the north and also in the south, which means this was bigger. It wasn't that it was four equal rooms. The Lishkat HaTlaim was a bigger room, right? That's what you see in the picture here. Over here, this one is a bigger room. So it's going also to the north and also to the south, both together. Okay? So now, says the Gemara, Udeati mitzafon. So if somebody's coming from the north, mitchazel lebedarom, it looks like it's in the south. But if you come from the south, it looks like it's in the north. Mitchazel lebetzafon. So says the Gemara, mistabra tivemaravit dromitavai. But it's more mistaber to say that really be'emet, it was more in the southwest. Mimai, why? Says midraminan lechem apanim, because we ask a contradiction from lechem apanim to lechem apanim. Remember that there we also had a lishkat lechem apanim. Lishkat lechem apanim was the room, the chamber where they made lechem apanim. Mishaninan, right? Because basically there we had a question: is it going to be in the north? In the southeast, right? Or the Mishnah and the Tamid said it was in the northeast. So it's southeast or northeast. Mishaninan, we answered more kachashiv derech yamin. It all depends whether you're going from the right to left or left to right, which means the Tanav Midot was going from right to left. So therefore he was going, from left to right, going always to the right. And the other one was going from the right to left. So it all depends which ones are you counting, meaning are you going clockwise or counterclockwise? That was the question. That's why if you look in the art scroll there, you have the arrows pointing in one direction. You understand? You see the arrows pointing in that one direction in the picture on the bottom. Because it's going from like left to right or right to left. That's the question. Yudzayin Amubet, 17b. So if you're going to tell me that the Lishkat HaTlaim was in southwest, so now you answered up the Lechem HaPanim, right? Why? Because then what you're trying to say is that since the Lishkat HaTlaim was in the southwest, so therefore, and you're going to the left, so it comes out the Lechem HaPanim was in the southeast. Okay, but if you're going to tell me Sefoni Maravitavai, the Lishkat HaTlaim was in the northwest, so then what did you answer for Lechem HaPanim? Elalav Shmamina, but rather it's teaching you B'ma'aravit Dromit Havai. Yeah, what does that mean, Maravit Dromit? It was in the southwest. Shmamina, and that's what we actually learned. It was in the southwest. Okay, fine. Ve'amar Mor, Sa'as Gemara, I don't understand you. Why is there a machloket? I thought you told us and you taught us, Kol pinot shetapone, lo yel derech yamin u'mizrach, which means you should always turn to the right. So if you're always turning to the right, why is there a meaning that you're always going to the right? So that's always going clockwise, no? Exactly, you're going clockwise, going to the right. Why are you going to go to the left? So he says, Hanamile ba'avodah. That's only when you're doing an avodah, a service in the Bet HaMikdash. Aval hacha, but here, chushbena be'almahu. He says, Stam, it's different cheshbonot. Since it's different cheshbonot, right, you're not going to be makpid, right, to go on the right dafka. Okay? Fine. Then we said in the Braita, we said over there, Kohen Gadol, Evi Chelek Berosh. The Kohen Gadol is bringing a portion at the beginning. You remember, now we finished with this and we're going back to the Kohen Gadol. If you remember, we said that the Kohen Gadol, he always comes and he brings first. So he always has first dibs on basically everything, whether it's taking the meat, whether it's sacrificing, whether it's doing all these things, he's always the one that takes first grabs. Yeah, so Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita, Keitza makriv chelek berosh, how do you come and you take a chelek at the beginning? Omer, if you're going to say, Ola zo ani makriv, I'm going to bring this Ola, or mincha zo, right? Keitzad, what's the case? Notel chelek berosh, Omer, chatat zo ani ochel, Hashem zo. So basically, he's going to take a chelek berosh if he's going to say, I want to eat this one, or I want to eat this animal. Ola zo ani makriv, if he's bringing it, so then he's makriv barosh. So makriv barosh means he's sacrificing it first and he's got first dibs. And notel barosh means that he gets the first dibs on the meat. Okay? Venotel, whether it's going to say chatat zo ani ochel, Hashem zo ani ochel, venotel chala mishte chalot, he's going to take chala from the two different chalot of the Shavuot. Arba or chamesh from the lechem hapanim, you could take 4 or 5 full loaves of the lechem hapanim. Rabbi says, L'olam chamesh. He could always take 5 loaves of the lechem hapanim. Shneimar, vayita le'aron uvanav, mechza le'aron, mechza le'vanav. Half for Aaron, half for children. So you have here Aaron HaKohen, or any Kohen Gadol. He will be able to take 5 loaves, and then you have another 5. Okay? Haguf kasha, but we said that's in itself as a question. Amarta, you just told me notel chala mishte chalot. You're going to take 1 chala from 2 chalot. Mani, who is this? It's Rabbi. The Amar Bazi says, palga shakil. Right? What does that mean, palga shakil? You're going to take half. Ema metziata. Let's say the middle case. Arba o chamesh mimase lechem hapanim. 4 or 5 from the lechem hapanim. Atan l'Rabbanan. This comes like the rabbis. The Amri Bazi said, lo shakil palga. You don't take half. Ema seifa. Let's say the seifa. Rabbi Yomer Ulam chamesh. You always take 5. So does it make sense that the Reisha and the Seifa is Rebbe, and the middle of the Braita there is going to be Rabbanan? It's not normal that you have an author of the Mishnah or an author of a Braita, that the first part is one rabbi. The last part is the same rabbi. In the middle, you stuck someone else in the middle. Doesn't sound right. You understand? Like, you're starting with Rabbi A, right? In the middle, you go to Rabbi B, and then again, you're Rabbi A. Doesn't make sense. That's what's happening here. Some Rabbi says, no. The 2 top ones were the Rabbanan, right? Why? Even the beginning of the Braita, right, was Rabbanan, that he said that the Kohen Gadol takes 2 chalot, and the middle one that he takes only 1 chala, right? Sorry, not 1, but less than half of the lechem hapanim. That's also like the rabbis. Umodu Rabbanan beprusa, but the rabbis agreed to do the chala, right? That he's not going to take, right, the prusa, right? It says the lav orach ara lemitvi leKohen Gadol, because it's not derech eretz to give that to a Kohen Gadol. Meaning, even if you're going to tell me that the Kohen Gadol cannot take half, right, but rather less than half, to do the korban shtei alechem, how are you going to do it? Shtei alechem means there's 2 breads. Shtei, shtaim, 2, lechem, 2 breads. If you're going to tell me that the Kohen Gadol has to take less than half, what are you going to take him? You're going to give him 3/4 of a loaf? It's not derech eretz to give a Kohen Gadol. You have to give him a loaf, a full loaf. So there, he's going to take half. By the lechem hapanim, he cannot take 5. Because if he takes 5, he took half. No, you could give him 4, right? But not 5. Here, by the shtei alechem, he's going to take half. Why is he going to take half? Because it's not kavod to give him less than half. It just doesn't make sense. Okay? And that's how we finish, right, with the, and then he continues. So why does it say 4 or 5? And that's Bezrat Hashem. We continue tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem. A wonderful day.